Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the MetaStellar YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about author websites and specifically how to set up the branding, the images, and the text for your website before you actually start creating the website. The reason why you might want to do the text and images ahead of time rather than as you go along and do it is because it's easier to design a website once you have some content to play with. So you have your author photograph, you have your book covers, you have some blog posts and the bio already set up. So you can just cut and paste it and then move it around and see until you get it look the way you want it to look. So I'm going to be taking you through all the elements that you're going to need when you start. And it's based on an article I've written for MetaStellar. I'm going to link the article down below, and but the article is flat, so some of the cool effects that I'm going to show you are only going to be visible in video. So I'm going to do that here. So let's switch to that screen, and so you can see what I'm going to be looking at. So this is the article that was posted on MetaStellar, and it's about how to set up your author website. And the first thing that I suggest that you do is to pick your branding, your fonts and your colors. So, and this is where it's going to be. So here's my Indie Writer website, and at the top there where it says Indie Writer, that's your logo. And you're going to want to create it probably ahead of time because it's kind of a key element of site designs. Like one of the first things you're going to do is upload your logo. So you want to do it ahead of time. I created mine with Google Drawing. I would normally use Canva to do this, but Canva charges extra if you want to have a transparent background. So I use Google Drawing because everybody can get it. So, so here it is in black, so you can see it. You would also want to save it in white. I am going to show you what it looks like to switch. So you switch the text color to white, but you can't really see it. So I'm going to work in black so you can see what I'm doing. So for this logo, I picked the Anton font. There it is, the fonts that you can pick from. Google has hundreds of fonts. I picked a nice, simple, streamlined one that will go with any author's website. Whether you're a fantasy writer or a science fiction writer or a mystery, this is a nice font that will go with everything. A lot of writers have very, very plain fonts in their logo. Not all do. I recently did an article about things that the top author websites have in common. And about half of them use very plain fonts. Half of them use kind of fancier fonts for their websites. Cassandra Clare, for example, has a little script on her website. Gail Carriger has a little medieval font going on. Pierce Brown has a kind of a military looking font. But Alona Andrews has a nice plain sans serif font. She also has a picture with it, but most writers don't. So don't feel like you have to create a picture to go with your logo. A plain font is fine. She also has a little subtitle there under her logo, #1 New York Times bestselling author. So if you are one, you might want to add that in. Here's James Corey. There's his logo. It's black on white, very simple font. James Patterson has a very basic font up there, and he uses a very basic font for his name, but it's in color, but it's pretty basic. So we're going to have, this is a logo. We're going to save it as, where's it, download as a PNG image. You want it to be PNG instead of JPEG. Could be PNG, keeps the transparency. So I'm going to save two versions of it, one in black on transparent, one in white in transparent, so that I have it saved as a reference. And I'm going to write down what color I picked in my notes. So I have a Google Doc that I'm keeping all my notes in so that I save my decisions as I make them. All right, so after I pick my main font for my logo, I am going to pick some fonts for, oh yeah, and I also suggested a few fancy fonts that you can use. Let me show you how to do that. So I've selected my text, Anton. I click on more fonts. I show display fonts. And now I have hundreds of fonts to pick from in Google Fonts that are all free. You can use them all. They all look funky and weird and everything else. So the trick is to go with the display fonts. And you have lots and lots of different options, you know, so you might want to change the size of it a little bit. So what I did was I created a new drawing, and I made the page size, here it is in page setup, to be 50 pixels high, 250 wide. I think the one that I have on my website is actually 300 wide by 96 high. And I give the details in the story. So that's it for logo fonts. Let's move on to the body and heading fonts. So heading fonts are the ones that show up in titles and subtitles on your website, and body fonts are all the rest of the text. So here, this is where I would choose that font in the next installment of this video, what actually set up the website. So you have all these fonts to pick from for the heading and for the base. And the theme that we're going to be using is called Rockfield, gives you a few options to pick from, and Shiva Open Sans is the one that I use. And it looks pretty good. You can see what it looks like on the final site here. So this is the Chivo heading and the Open Sans body. There's Chivo again, Open Sans in italic, and it looks pretty clean. It looks modern, it looks professional. So that's the one I go with. On the MetaStellar website, we use Open Sans for the body, and we use Oswald for the headings, but Oswald isn't available with this particular theme. But there's plenty of other options, so I'm not too concerned about that. All right, so you pick those fonts, you write it down, Chivo, Open Sans. Now let's move on to the color codes. So when you pick color in your theme, again, next part of this tutorial, is it lets you choose a theme for your color palette on your website. So I've picked orange to go, and this is where the buttons show up, and some of the backgrounds can be orange. That's your primary accent color. And all the other colors, the main colors of the website are black, white, and gray. So here it is, black, white, and gray is showing up in all the functional elements. And here at the bottom, it's black, white, and gray. So those are the kind of core backbone colors of the website. You don't want to mix colors. Let me give you an example of something that mixes colors. So here's one accent color, you know, white text on a red. Here is white text on green, and here's red text on green. It's just awful. So pick one accent color and stick with it. So once you pick an accent color, and you can pick any color. So the author websites are all over the place. So Pierce Brown has a lot of browns on his website. He's got red, he's got tans. Ilona Andrews has some grays, blues, violets. So really authors are all over the place. James Corey has some blues and purples and grays. And James Patterson has a lilac color for his accent. So there it is, the accent color in the lilac there. and he's got gray and a bunch of other colors on his website. So today, author websites are all over the place, including the most expensive ones by the biggest authors. So they spend some time on this website, and these are the colors that they choose. So don't stress too much about the colors. They're easy to change. All you do to change your accent color is to go in here and pick your own color. And so, for example, I can switch to this little teal color here. And now my whole website will change. There it goes. I can play with it. See? And then my whole website will change and all the accent colors will change. By keeping my splash of color to one accent, it means that there won't be too much clashing on the website. I won't have that red on green problem showing up. And these colors, once you make that change here in the template, the change will be everywhere throughout the whole site. So if you have like thousands of pages, that change will go through to every single page instantly. This is one of the huge benefits of using a content management platform like WordPress. If you're doing the websites the old-fashioned way, like 20 years ago when I was doing it in HTML, you would have to manually go through every page, or you'd use something like Dreamweaver that would kind of have you do some minimal templates, but it was such a pain in the butt and kept breaking. Really, WordPress is awesome. It runs 60% of the websites that have content management systems use WordPress. It's the number one. You don't see it advertised because it's like water. Everybody just uses it. The ones that are advertised, nobody uses them. That's why they're advertised. They're trying to sell you something. I mean, WordPress does all of this for free. Oh, like why bother paying for something that's worse when WordPress is so good and does everything? So I've picked orange as my accent color. I've written down the code for it, EB660. Let me put this back here so that you know, my website stays orange. And I would like save changes if I was doing this for real. Okay, so and then for your, because you're going to want some different colors on panels and stuff. So here I have gray and you know, purple and stuff. So you might want to have different colors. Use the Adobe color wheel so that your colors don't clash. So here I have EB6600. It's the name of my orange color, and it gives you all my matching colors. A lighter and a darker version in case I want to have a monochromatic kind of look somewhere, and the complementary teal colors. And I picked the ones I like and I wrote them down so that I don't forget them, because when you come back to try to look for them again, you're always going to forget it. And you can play around with it. So you can, you know, see what it looks like in different places. See, you can swing this all around and it will create a color palette for you. That's kind of, you know, that's complementary. You know, that's what this is about. And you can switch. This is the complementary one. You can also switch to a triad where it uses this three system, you know, triangle system to pick complementary colors. And something like this might be nice for like a fantasy website, a cheerful one, or a children's book website. But again, you can move this stuff around to get different palettes out of it. So, you know, you can play with different options and different level saturations until you find something that looks nice. You can also pick accent colors based on an image. So here I've uploaded my MetaStellar image to the Canva color palette generator, and it picks matching colors for me. I don't want to use these. These are kind of boring. But if you have a picture that you want to use as the base of your color palette, just upload it here and do it with that. Great way to create color palettes. Very, very easy. And it's from canva.com, which I use for a lot of stuff. So we're done with colors. And so we've picked them. And now we're going to go to the content for this site. Okay. So, so I'm going to look at see what other authors have on their websites. So they have a biography sections. They have sections about the books that the author does. So they have profile photographs. They have book covers. So those are the kinds of things that I want to have on my website. So same thing for Ilona Andrews, book covers, bios, learn more about us, contact, read our books, latest blog posts, schedules. So those are the kinds of things that authors put on their websites. So I'm going to have them on mine. So I'm going to have an about section, and I've already written it so that I can just cut and paste it when I do my website. I have a contact section. So here I just give an email address. Some websites have contact forms, but they break a lot and are a pain in the butt to maintain. And when they stop working, you usually don't know because, I mean, unless you regularly send emails to yourself to check through the contact form, you're not going to know if it breaks. I visited, in doing this article, I visited some author websites, including my favorite author websites. A lot of them had broken contact forms on there. And when I've used contact forms on my website, they often break. So I just stopped bothering with them at all. I just put my email address up there. People used to worry about the spammers getting the email address. Well, the cat's out of the bag. All the spammers have your email address. You might want to set up a new Gmail one just for your author contact, or you can put your agent's contact information here if you're lucky enough to have an agent. And it just makes it easier. You can also put a post office box here, whatever contact information you want. Then get some other content for my site. For example, I might have some testimonials that go on there, or I might have reviews that I would put on the website. The next thing about text content is there's two kinds of pages in WordPress, also in Blogger and some of the other popular content management systems. There's pages and there's posts. Pages are pages of your website that are not dated. Things like biography, contact, of a description of your book, a sample chapter of your book, maybe the full text of a short story. And then there's post pages. So there's pages and post pages. And a post page is something that's dated. For example, August 1st, 2021. I am drinking coffee this morning, and I had this brilliant thought, and here I am sharing it with you, my readers. Or upcoming announcement, I'm going to be at the local mall reading my book, come visit me. Or maybe you might have a little preview. Here's a teaser of what I'm working on today. So dated diary style content, announcements, my book made the bestseller list. I was profiled in this magazine, go read this article about me. That's dated content, that's posts. So you might want to write like 2 or 3 of them to go up on your website ahead of time, so you have filler content that's ready to go when a website goes live. So I have some fake ones here that are like, I went for a swim today. And this is what it would look like on the website. So I have, where are my posts? So here I have a panel of latest posts. Today I did yoga on top of a mountain, right? I walked in the woods today. I went for a swim today. So these would be an example of blog posts showing up on your website. Or I think I have them in another place here. Here's another slide for them. I added these as blog posts. And you can also even have them in this kind of slider. A lot of authors have blog posts on their websites. So here's the blog post for Ilona Andrews. And these are the kind of the thoughts that they had on this Friday. So it's dated 2021, September 3rd. And there's, stuff that they did that day. So, so that's the content that you're going to create. You can also add content like short stories, book excerpts, sample chapters, book blurbs and descriptions, anything that you're going to want to put on your website when you first launch. So save it all in one place, like a Word document or a Google Doc, so that you're ready to go when the site goes live. So that's the text content. Let's talk about images. Here's you're going to need. Here's the images you're going to need. You're going to need your official headshot. You're going to need the images of your book covers. So track them down, find them, get them in one place. You're going to want cover images for your short stories and blog posts. And you're going to want just random background images for your website. So here I have images that go with my blog posts, the swim in the lake, the walk in the woods. I have book cover images. I have a background image that's just in the background, like behind her here. I have a background image here. See where I'm scrolling and there's a background image. So I've got the book cover and I've got a background image there. I've got more book covers, more images, another background image behind these covers, and another background image here behind there. So you might want to know where do you get these images? So one nice thing about WordPress is that the theme that we use has a built-in image picker. So you can just search for vampire and it will give you a whole bunch of free to use vampire images. So for some of these blog posts, I'm not picking images ahead of time. I'm just going to pick something random that it gives me. For other things, I'm going to create images ahead of time. So let's go through some of the image creation things. So one of the things that I'm going to do is create an avatar photo. So here's an avatar photo. I actually used an AI generator to create this photo. I uploaded my headshot and it gave me a bunch of random faces that are totally unique that the AI generated on the fly for me. So, and you can, these are all free to use, and you can just use that if you don't want to use your own real photo on your website. There's also, you can also make a profile picture. So if you notice, the one that I use for myself it's round and it has a little green kind of funky background. So I uploaded it to PFP Maker, which makes profile pictures for social media. And I uploaded my picture, and this is all the ones that it gave me it's free. So you can save it and you can have a pretty picture to put on your social media and on your author website. And you can also remove your background. So you can upload an image and it would strip the background from it, and then you can download it. So I created this image, stripped the background from it, from this AI image, downloaded it, and stuck her and like photoshopped her into another picture to create this one here. I gave her my hairstyle, basically. So that's why it looks kind of weird, because it's photoshopped. Okay, so next, book covers. So this is an indie writer. This is a sample website. I'm not going to pay $100 a pop to buy custom book covers for a sample site that I'm putting up. You might already have covers made up. You might not have covers because maybe you have a lot of short stories that you're going to post and you want covers to illustrate short stories, because graphics, are great. Graphics make your website look great. Graphics attract readers. Graphics are great for sharing on social media, on Instagram, everywhere, Facebook, Twitter, whatever your preferred social media platform is, graphics help. To create these sample covers, I used Canva's template. Now I'm going to go really quick through it to give you an example of how you would do it. Canva's covers are kind of, they're not that great. So we're going to go to, I'm going to create a new book cover. Where did I put mine? Let me show you what I did with mine. So I have a bunch of book cover designs. This is the ones that I made. So to make a new one, so these are all the ones that I made. To make a new one, you click on Add Page. You search the templates. So here's the templates. Search template for, I'm going to search for dragon book cover. And they don't have anything good. So let's try fantasy book cover. I'm going to pick this one just randomly here. See, and then I'm going to find a dragon picture through their system. Dragon photograph. Let's pick this one. I'm going to stretch it out. Stretch it out there. Okay. I'm going to position it backward. I'm going to remove this one. Fortress. Make this, move it to the, make this one white so you can see the font. Here, my name, let's make that white. And so I unfortunately picked a commercial picture here that costs money. And then you change the titles and stuff. But this one costs money, and I don't want to have the Canva watermark there. So why don't I pick a picture that, oh, that also costs money. Yeah, a lot of their cool pictures cost money. I don't want to spend money on a sample site. So let's go back up to the top. Pick something. Huh. They're all pro. This one's free. And this one's free. Okay. So let's get rid of this one. Stretch it out. Let's move it in place. Let's position it backward. Let's delete this one. Let's make this text white. Come on. Detach it from background. Canva's not perfect. It's a bit of a pain to work with. Okay. Delete this. So yeah. So here's a sample cover. I'm gonna play with it a little bit more. I'm gonna, do some little filters on it, make it a little darker, and I'm going to change the color on it, make it like a little bluer. Here we go. I'm going to make it a little cooler and a little bit more saturated, and up the contrast on it, and make it a little darker, a little bit more contrast. So there you go. And I'm also going to change the font. Why not? So it's basically like and you can also stretch out the letter spacing like that. So you can play around with all the fonts. go back to Anton. Let's make it a little bit bigger and a little bit more condensed. And let's move it up here. All right, and there's my cover. Ta-da! So a couple of minutes on Canva, and I've got a sample cover. And then you can use this, you can duplicate it here, and then make versions of the same cover for all your short stories by picking background images. So as you can see, Canva's selection of images isn't that great. And there's a bunch of other sites where you can get images. I list a bunch of them here. Pexels, Pixabay, Unsplash, or you can create your own images that are unique with AI tools. And I did an article recently about using AI tools to modify images. So for example, this is a free Pixabay image that you see a lot of places because it's free and it's popular. I want to use it, but I want to be a little funky with it. So I can put it through an AI filter and get it to look like this, or like this, or look at that, right? You can turn it into a little, all sorts of funky stuff, right? And you can also draw your own picture. Like this is a doodle from my journal, and you can turn it into pretty much anything. And some of it's going to look bad, and some of it's going to look good. I mean, look at this. This looks like something that would hang in a museum, actually, right? I use, for most of my images, I use the Paint program. That's with 2 N's, Paint. I pay a little extra to have the professional version of it because it gives me so many filters. But all the ones that I give on this website here in this blog post are all free, and you can do really cool stuff. There's also, on the top of this page, there's a long list of free image sources, including Wikimedia Commons, Pixabay, Raw Pixel, Unsplash, Pexel. There's museum sites where the images are public domain. And there's a bunch of places where you can generate random background images. Pixabay has a lot of nice background images. You just search for abstract background and you get stuff like this and like this. And you would use them. So here's a cloud background from Pixabay. Here's a solid gray color. And here's that first brown background from Pixabay. There's a cloud again. There's another Pixabay image. And here's another Pixabay background, little circles there. And that's it. That's the content that you need before you get started. Your fonts, your colors, your text, your images, and you're ready to build your website, which is going to be my next tutorial. I am going to go through from scratch, from the beginning to end, about how to build a website that looks like this one, totally for free. It's a new thing you can now do. When I was doing these even 2 years ago for friends, I was setting up free or low-cost websites for them. I couldn't do this, and today I can. Okay, so next time I'm going to take you through how to build this website from the beginning to not necessarily all the way to the end, because I've got a lot of blocks and panels in there that I play around with. But I'll show you how to set up 1 or 2 of the panels so you can get the main idea of how to do it. And then later I will go through like the individual panels and how to build individual kinds of panels. But the basic stuff, I don't know how long it's going to take me. I'm going to try to do it in real time from scratch. So if you don't want to miss that, hit the subscribe button, the bell, the like, all that good stuff. See you next time.